Those are three things. It's not, don't overcomplicate it. It's very simple. And if we can attack those three things, if we can be leveraged out in the run game, if we can manage those RPOs, and then we can tackle well, we'll be in good shape. And go Browns. I like your background.
Yeah, my man.
Dave, I know it's coaches don't always like to single out individual players too much, but can you single out one or two guys defensively that you've seen so far in practices and whatnot that maybe have overachieved and given you a little bit more than what you've expected, and now you're hoping that translates into the game on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the defense, I mean, we're going to play hard. The guys give unbelievable effort, and they have been over the last, this is going on our fourth year being here. One guy that always comes to mind is Garrett Fairman. He's another one that came in as a safety. He's a local PA guy. He hurt himself last year, had a foot injury last fall, wasn't able to play in the fall, but played in 2019. But, he overcame that. He rehabbed. He came to camp. He's had a phenomenal camp. He's an undersized D lineman, but for us, he's going to give all his effort that he has. He's a stand-up kind of hybrid linebacker DN that we have, but he's going to give great effort, and he's always an overachiever. Sometimes you look in the field, you're like, I don't know if this guy should be out there, but every time, when that game ends, you're like, wow, that guy gave unbelievable effort, and he played out of his mind.
What does he do really well that stands out?
Intellectually, he's an unbelievable football player, just really a savant. We ask a lot of him. He's a D lineman, he's a linebacker, he drops, he does different things, and he's always on point. Very rarely do you ever have him making a mental error, and that's why he's on the field. He gives great effort, and he's an unbelievably smart football player.
Who would you guys say is the heartbeat of this team?
Well, I think Coach just mentioned one of them. I mean, there's no doubt Garrett's the heartbeat of his team. And you talked about it earlier, and you and Mike talked about it. He's another guy that we brought in on $10,000. And he's a guy that's put himself in position to earn himself a full scholarship. He's definitely one part of the heartbeat. And I think the other one would be George and Buzz. Those are the guys that really jump out at us. And probably one of the wide receivers we're going to get back, and Dre Hicks. Those are probably the four guys everybody looks to do something real great and do something spectacular. Those are the guys they look to. And Fairman, because he brings so much energy. That was one thing when we had a good season in 2019. One of the seniors that left, the first thing he said to me, Coach, you got to keep Fairman on the team. And at that time, Fairman was just a partial scholarship guy. He said, Coach, the energy he brings out there, the liveliness he brings to the huddle, he takes us to a whole nother level. So that's the great thing about Fairman.
Gabe, I kind of want to do the same thing I did with Dave with you and talk about the offense. 3 key points that you guys need to do in order to win this ball game.
I think coaches hit on it. We got to run the football, and we got to take care of the ball. We got to do our part in winning the turnover battle of the game. And then when the chances are there, we've got to find a way to create some explosive plays. So if we're doing those 3 things, I think we're giving ourselves a shot.
Gabe, what do you like most about your offense as a unit right now? What do you see them doing well in practice?
Well, again, I think coaches hit on it. We've done a good job run scheme wise throughout all the camp, picking up some things, some little tweaks that we've put in, that sort of thing. We got a quarterback who's played in a lot of games, and he's a calming presence, and he's a quiet leader, but a lot of guys look to him. And then, our offensive line, as Coach said, played together for a long time. We got a lot of games in those guys. So, game reps they're irreplaceable, as much as you practice. Those guys that have played in games, they've seen different situations, they've been put in different worlds. They've just been through it. So that's how guys grow the most.
As you watch George Martin in practice day to day and see his strengths and skills, what stands out that makes him the good quarterback that he is?
I think me and Coach Plungers were talking about at camp at some point this year. I said all quarterbacks should be fifth-year seniors. It's about right when they're getting it, That's a shame they graduate and leave after that. But it's just, it's just a repetition thing. I mean, we can do it. The guys know, pretty much everybody you're going to have after your first month of college football that's been on the team and been in all these meetings that we do all day long. They know what's going on, but they need repetitions. They need their eyes to see it and their brains to process these things, to make decisions. And guys need to make mistakes to learn and grow from them. And so younger guys are going to be in that curve of seeing things, making mistakes, and learning from them. Whereas fifth-year guys have hopefully learned from all those things, hit that curve, and the decision-making is more natural or you're not intentionally thinking. You're seeing things, you're processing, you're making decisions.
Where would you say he's made his biggest strides in terms of learning from those mistakes?
Well, I think it's just a total collection of the offense. You're understanding everything that we're doing. He understands what all 11 guys are doing out there. He's been with us the entire time we've been here, 4 years now, and he's grown, through his career with us in that same offense. And so, again, it's just accumulating repetitions and accumulating pictures that they're seeing, that their brain is processing and allowing them to make good decisions. So I think it's just a cumulative deal.
Bernard, I want to talk about the message going into this week. You guys have odds stacked against you. First game of the season, a lot of player losses due to COVID, but you guys still want to go out and win this game. What are you telling your guys in the locker room to let them know this isn't about moral victory? We got to go out here and win.
Well, the understanding that we try to give them is it's not about you trying to overdo it. It's not about you trying to win this game. It's about us as a team trying to win this football game. And all we need you to do is your job. All we need you to do is what's required of you. If you're a defensive end, we need you to take on that that offensive tackle. We need you to beat that offensive tackle. We don't need you to try to dominate every play, the entire offense. Just take care of what you can take care of, what's important to you. It's every play. That's all you worry about. Just worry about the next play. Don't worry about what's going on. Worry about the moment. Worry about what's going on. If something goes bad that play, okay, let's go to the next play. Understand, just do what you're required to do. That's all teamwork means. Teamwork just means doing what you're required to do.
Dave, in terms of philosophy for your defense, how do you guys like to play? How do you guys just like to play ball?
Yeah, we like to play fundamentally sound football. We're going to give you different looks. It's a lot of people try to overcomplicate it, right? Our goal is to take away about 2 to 3 things that the offense does well and make them play left-handed. And when they adjust, we adjust. And if you can simplify it and you can do those things, you'll be in a good spot. But we're going to play hard. We're going to give unbelievable, relentless effort every single snap. We're going to be aggressive, but we're going to take our chances, but we got to make sure we're sound. We got to be sound in our run fits, sound in our pass game. And again, it dictates week to week on what the offense is doing, what we want to take away, how we want to disguise stuff. But we're going to be very sound, fundamentally sound when it comes to block destruction and tackling. And then when it comes to your scheme, we're going to do what we need to do.
Dave, what's an area of concern for you defensively in that, when you play your opening game, you're never 100% sure what you're going to get, but based on what you've seen in practices, you don't really have a great self-confidence about blank going into Saturday, or what do you want to see most?
Transition to game speed and adjustments. You're going to always see something you haven't seen before, especially with some of the guys down. The biggest thing that defensively is seeing what the offense is giving you, whether it's different formations or motions, and being able to adjust and communicate as a defense. And we got some new guys out there that we're going to have to be able to see it. And we've been giving them different things to look at and to make sure they're on point. But it's the first thing is their adjustments, and the second thing is going to be the game speed. We've been practicing against our offense and going against the scout team now for about 2 weeks. But when you get in game speed, it's no more scout team, and you can't correct it if it's wrong. So that speed's going to be a lot faster. So a lot of it is how our young guys, the guys who are inexperienced, how we can transition from that practice speed to game speed and see how we adjust from that standpoint.
Got you. Speaking of scout team, who were some key guys that you locked in on for Central Michigan that was wearing that jersey, said, hey, we got to replicate what this guy does?
In terms of Central Michigan's top players?
Yeah.
Obviously number 7, running back, and then number 88, the receiver. Pimpleton's a really good guy. They do a really nice job of disguising him in different looks and motioning him in and out to get him the ball. Quite honestly though, this week we didn't have much of a scout team, so we weren't able to replicate it the best we can. So, but those are the 2 guys that we got to eliminate. Obviously the quarterback's, he's pretty good too, but again, take away the run, take away the pass games. But like you guys all said, they did a really good job last week distributing the ball to different guys, not just 88 like they did in 2020. So, just being aware of where the guys are at, trying to replicate it the best you can and take those things away.
Gabe, I want to ask you that same question I just asked Dave. Offensively, what are you most interested to see Saturday that maybe you're a little unsure of because you haven't seen it in practice yet?
Well, I think for us right now is, it's going to be a little different group of guys than it would have been if we were talking last Saturday. So some of these guys are going to have to adjust, and it's going to be their first time doing so, and it's going to be their first time doing so against very fast, large humans. So, just getting them to relax, getting them into the flow of the game. I'm sure all of us can probably remember our first game in college, or even if it was high school, whatever it was. I mean, there's butterflies, there's things are moving real fast. I need to help them get into a calm down status, and just go play.
For you, Gabe, is there anybody that's had a really good camp so far that maybe stands out, and you're excited to see what they'll do in a game situation on Saturday? Can you think of one guy that's got you kind of really pumped up that way?
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Hicks, our left tackle, has been starting every game since we've been here, and he's kind of just like we were talking about with quarterbacks. When you get to the fifth-year senior left tackles, that's usually a good world. And those guys have accumulated a lot of reps. But he's a kid who continues to get better. He's very, very smart. He doesn't say boo, but he has ultimate respect on the team for how he plays, the effort he plays with, the intelligence he plays with, the technique, everything we ask him to do. So I'm excited for him, see him go out there and compete against some very good players.